what you're practicing, putting, wedges, chipping, drivers, whatever, irons, swing, it goes into 4 blocks. So you go, I have an hour. My wife gave me an hour to practice, right? So you're going to start your practice by programming your game. And that's 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. So programming means you're kind of like writing the code for what you want the swing to be for the day. So there's many ways to do that. One is through this checkpoint swing laser, which we're going to do. The second one would be through like a mirror. The third one would be through like a plane board. The fourth one would be like a portable plane board. But you want to and it's 3 to 5 minutes. So it's making swings. It's making swings that are like, uber slow. So it's like you're making swings that are like this. And you're just programming, getting a feel for what
programming your brain.
Programming your brain, because your brain, us men, we are not smart, and we forget things every 5 seconds.
Right.
Okay? Then from there, after you program, then you're going to block practice. Block practice is, the definition of block practice is using something, artificial intelligence, feedback loops, to make it so that your block practicing, your swing in your block practice should look nearly flawless. And when I say flawless, I mean like actually flawless. Not like when you see someone who's got kind of like an ugly baby and you're like, oh my gosh, your baby's so cute. Oh my God, right? No, like it actually looks like really, really great. Like, is that Todd or Tommy Fleetwood? Like, I can't tell.
Who is this guy?
Right, okay. Then once you do that, now just because you do a bunch of block practice does not necessarily mean you can transfer it. You might be a great practicer then, but you have to know how to compete. Right. So that's where we're going to you randomize your practice. So then in randomize, the definition of random practice is every shot is different in full routine. Okay. So that's where you're going. So you go to the course, you walk through the clubhouse, you go into the pro shop, or you go into the gym, and you maybe do your 15-minute stretch that Lindsay teaches you, and then you program your swing, then you go to the range, you block practice for 25 minutes, now you randomize it. So now you're going to pick, and you're going to get your rangefinder, and you're going to hit a ball to every different target on the range. Right? That's random practice. That's 15 minutes. Okay. Now you have 15 more minutes. So now you're going to learn, you have to compete to leave. Right? So now you're going to play a game, something that stresses you out and pisses you off if you lose. You want to be stressed out. Okay. That's the goal of what you're doing. Your goal is to get stressed. Okay? So because that's what it's going to feel like when you've got member. So now you're going to play a game, and now you're going to add some consequence to it. So now you're going to do the game, and you're going to go back through the range targets, like let's say 10 targets, and you're going to go, okay, I'm going to hit to this flag, and I got to hit it left of the flag between the flag and the tree. Then I'm going to go this flag, and I'm going to that flag in between the flag and the tree. And you have to do that, 10 targets, and your goal is you got to get 5 out of 10. If you get less than 5 out of 10, you're going to tip your front staff $10 or $15, which they're going to love you for, and you're going to take it, and you're going to go, here's your money, right? But it's something that's going to piss you off, right? But you're doing a good deed. And then if you do succeed, then you can do something to reward yourself. You go, all right, like, I'm going to go pour some bourbon at the house, or like whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Something that says, hey, like, I'm amazing. Good job, Todd. Right? And then that allows you to transfer it. And then your practice, to your point of I did this for a month and then I got away, your practice should be like Groundhog Day. So your wife will text you and you go, I would like to go practice. And she goes, Todd, fine. How long do you need? You go, I need an hour and 4 minutes because that's how long it takes me to do my swing stuff. Right. And if I watched you on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, the practice would look the exact same. You're just chiseling away at this marble, and over time you'll make it into like this masterpiece. And you don't know, but eventually you're going to chisel that thing and the rock will break, and then and which is today's the day, and then you'll start to chisel this thing, and then over time you just keep chiseling and keep chiseling. And if you're like an artist, it's almost like you're never really even done. Like they say it's done, but they're like, they could probably keep still sculpting and doing this. There's something. There's always something. So you're never finished, but that's the glory of it, right? So we're going to program, and this is super powerful because it programs your brain to like feel what's real. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
Don't take a full swing with that on.
Yeah, this is
I
good.
did it one time and this went into the ceiling.
Whoops.
Oh, okay.
That backfired. All right, so we're going to get in our setup here. Okay, and I'm going to guide you through this for a little while.
Okay.
So we're in our setup, right? We're going to be a little bit further away and bent a little bit more over. There you go. Okay. And then now you would want to go this way, right? And see how that would go that way. So we're going to feel like we're turning. And that probably feels like more hinge than you've ever had earlier, right? But see how it's parallel to the target.
Right.
Now it's switching, and see how that's the steep,
Right.
right? And it's up to the top, and then that's the top, right?
Okay.
And then it's coming down.
I don't want that. I don't want this green dot to go off of the.
Right, so the reason that is because
Otherwise, I'm over.
yeah. So this
turning
number
or-
right here, this is called adduction, right, with your chest.
Right.
So a tour player has 11 degrees of adduction.
Okay.
When you go any farther,
Yeah.
you have more adduction,
Right.
which you don't want. That was behind you. So we're here, and then if you wanted to try to feel like it being shallow, which I think is a great idea, you're going to shift this.
Well,
You're going to shift this down. I don't want to get on the laser. You're going to shift this down that way, and then see how the laser's coming down from this back side.
yeah.
Impact. And then we're going to feel the steep, so see how the shaft's going to go back up. And then finish. Okay, now you can see when you do that, and that's completely fine, that there's like, try to move my arm, move it around.
Like up.
Yeah. See, like it does, like I'm fighting it, right?
Right,
Like
right.
the memory of your body go
fighting, it's
ah,
Yeah,
right?
I don't like this.
Right. So eventually, if you could watch this, come over here for a sec. I posted this actually yesterday. Like if I did this and I watch, I will close my eyes, right? So I close my eyes, so I'm not able to see the laser, but like my DNA is making this swing that I'm guessing is pretty close to the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then I go, that's how I swing.
That's where you want to be.
That's what I do, right? So like the myelin that's wrapped around my memory inside my body, I go, this is normal to me,
Right.
right? And that's what you're doing, is you're literally taking, on a molecular level, like you're taking and you're wrapping the nerve endings around with myelin. So you go, yeah, this is the program I want to run. Which is why if you go to the range and you aim to the right and you make these swings, you go, don't do that. I mean, I went to a soccer game the other day for my son, and it was raining, so they had umbrellas, and there's this dad on the range, or not on the range of the soccer field, because there was a little bit of thing, and he's kind of like this. He's like, and I'm like, stop doing, you're getting worse. Come over here, let me help you.
Killing me here.
You know what I mean? So like, we need it so that like when you're sitting inside Trader Joe's and you're making these swings, right? They're like just perfect swings. And if we could get it to where you're doing this and these swings are great, right? Then that's great. And then if you get to this and you go, let's just say after 10 minutes we can't get it, then I'm going to start adding a bunch of obstacles to force you to go through the thing, like a trace.
So do I?
So this is to that point. This is the trace
Right.
of like the dotted lines,
Yeah.
right? So you can take your kid and you go, okay, can you trace this? And let's just say they can't do it. So what do you do next? You get the trace and you jam the marker inside the trace and you go, put the pin inside the trace and trace it, which is us doing feedback. So if you can't do it here, good frickin' luck at 100 miles an hour. Then I'm going to start adding the trace, so you have to trace it right.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense? And then if we can get you at the end of the day to trace it correctly, then my heart can be at peace, and I can go, great. Go home and do it till your hands bleed for the rest of your life.
Do I want to, like you when you were helping me with it? Do I want to have the dot above the line to be more shallow?
I would
initially
do that. Yeah.
To
Yep.
overdo that.
Yep. Yep. What? Yep. Yep. Let's actually, I'm going to film this a few times, so let's move this. Can you take that end and move it right back over here to the other side of the hitting straight? Right there. There you go. Cool. Thanks. That's that external rotation she talked about. Okay, again. Now what'll happen is as we do this, I'm gonna go like this and see how I'm gonna circle the shaft. And then you're gonna go back and I'm gonna follow it. But you should be able to, so I'm like soft guiding it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like right now I'm like overhauling it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm the driver of the ship right now. So at that stage it should be parallel.
Okay.
Okay, hold it right there. Okay, and then down. Come down for me. Good. Okay, again. Good. Down. See how I held it a little longer? How do you, were you practicing at something like this when you did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it in my living room and I was doing it slow. And I don't know, I do it.
Hey,
times, I don't know.
yeah, that's good. You only need to do it.
But I did it every day. And I think then when the course finally opened and the weather got warmer, it's like I don't feel any.
So here's what's interesting. I had a guy come in yesterday, one of my students, like long-time students, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he goes, "Playing terrible." I go, "Huh? But that's interesting. You were playing so good in May and June." He goes, "Yeah." And I knew the answers to these, so I'm just baiting him, right? And I'm like, "What was the difference?" He goes, "I don't know. I just hit it terrible." I go, "When was the last time you were in here?" And he goes, "June." And I go, "And what were your practice habits like in April, May, and June, and February, and blah 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 blah?" And he goes, "Well, but I'm going to do like doing stuff like this, and then the season starts, and then you play."
Right.
So what people don't understand is that you do a lot of stuff in the winter, right? Like we're getting in winter right now.
Right.
So let's just say between playing golf, let's just make up a guy, an avatar, and say the guy gets to play 1 day a week. His wife gives him 1 day a week, so 5 hours, and then he gets 2 practice days, so he gets 7 hours.
Okay.
So in the winter, right, you get 7 hours.
Right. You get an hour a day.
You get an hour a day in the winter. That's the developmental stuff. That's to raise your skill. Then in the summer, once the summer starts, really what it's like is you should take the 7 that you have, and then you probably need to stack on another 5 or 4. So you still have to practice. But the problem is it's days like today, and you go, "I think I'll just play."
Let's go play.
Right.
Yeah.
But then what ends up happening is just the motor pattern gets a little bit more down. So like our academy kids and like all the TGR people, all their swings peak in like aesthetically peak, visually peak in like April, May.
Right.
And then they come back in August. We're like, what the hell happened? They're like, well, I've just been playing. I go, how many cone drills have you done? You know what I mean? So like when I was playing, I'd have mundane Mondays, which were like my days for my dirty 30. I had these names, right? The dirty 30, 30 minutes of just the stuff. Like I don't want to do the stuff. I'd rather just go play and compete. But I also don't want to go play and suck.
Right.
So like it's the dirty 30. Right. So.